Hey y'all, it's been a long time since I've done a New York video, so it's finally time for another one. The New York Subway has 472 stations. Many are below ground, hence the name Subway, but many are also above ground or elevated, especially once you get outside of Manhattan. But not all of these stations were built at the same height or depth, and two stand out above, or below in the case of my first example, all the rest. 191st Street on the 1 train in northern Manhattan, and Smith 9th Streets on the F and G trains in Brooklyn. 191st Street is the deepest subway station on the New York Subway at around 173 feet or 53 meters deep, and opened on the 14th of January 1911. Smith and 9th Streets is quite the opposite, standing at nearly 88 feet or 27 meters high. Opening in 1933, this station still stands today as the highest station on the New York City subway. Naturally, I wanted to explore both of these stations and was fortunately able to do so on a trip I took to New York with my good friend Joplin at 19 back in December. We had just finished filming another video and we're at Franklin Avenue Station in Brooklyn, so we decided to head over to Smith 9th Streets, which wasn't too far away. It's nice that they accounted for pedestrians when making this crossover. Yeah. So, right now we're headed over to Smith 9th. We're getting the C train first. We're heading to Smith 9th, the highest station, at least elevation from the ground-wise, on the network. Passing the sidewalk, it's a very interesting feeling. There's no gates, it's just straight below.
You're coming directly from the Franklin Avenue.
You are, but it's a very interesting way to do it.
Yeah.
See, they could have put fare gates there, but chose not to. Instead, it's just direct transfer to the platform. Just missed that train.
This is Lafayette Avenue.
We transferred to the G train at Hoyt Skimmerhorn, and we're on our way again pretty shortly.
That looks rather familiar.
Yes, it does. For some context, the DC Metro's 7000 series cars have a very similar interior display. The station before Smith 9th was Carroll Street, and since Carroll Street is an underground station, our train had to climb quite a bit to reach Smith 9th. We're at Smith and 9th Streets in Brooklyn. So this is the highest of the elevated stations on the New York Subway. So we're just kind of in a bridge. So I'm assuming this is this high just to clear the canal, which conveniently is located right under the station, right under the platform.
For some added context, this station is 87.5 feet or 26.7 meters above ground level.
All right, so we've just begun our descent down. I guess we should count the steps. Oops, too late.
You can count it on the way up.
Well, we're going to be going up the other platform, so it might be slightly different.
That is true.
We can just do a little...
Oh, look, some window art.
Very nice window art. Part of Long Island. Not all of Long Island, just part of, but not all of Staten Island, but they just label it Staten Island. I'm like,
Coney
okay.
Island, which is a peninsula.
Coney Island, yeah. It's the other trains the other side, but they do have escalators here.
Is this
So
the Forest Glen of... What
this
is
is the
deepest...
opposite. What's the highest? So
The highest.
pretty high up. And we're still way above street level.
Like, this right here is where most elevated stations are normally.
Here's the entrance, the one and only entrance to the station. Apparently this bridge is a drawbridge, so not for the trains, of course, but for the cars it very much is. So that's the station way up there. So we're right on top of this canal. Hence why this bridge is so tall, I think. Because having a drawbridge for a subway isn't that good, but Having it elevated way up there. That works.
Yeah. Traffic up there, of course.
For context, that is a 4-story building, that brick building right there where it says office space. The tracks are above that. So this is above 4 stories tall. And looks like there's service entrances here to the other side of the station maybe. But yeah, no elevators, it's all stairs and escalators here. All right, so going back up to get the G train, Shoreline's gonna do a timer just to see how long it takes to get up there. So we'll start it from the second we step onto the steps outside the station. Actually, no, from the second we tap in on the fare gates. How about that?
Yeah, that works.
All right, we're going back in. Tap, oops.
Up. 3, 2, 1, go.
18 seconds so far. All right, we're at the end of the first escalator, so now we get on the second. And the timer stops when we get to the platform level.
Yes. That's the stopwatch from entering the fare gates to getting to the platform, getting up on Smith and 9th.
Overall, I'd rate Smith and 9th as an okay station. It's not very visually interesting, and some might even consider it an eyesore. It's not accessible as there's no step-free access to basically anywhere in the station. It takes a while to get up to the platform, but at 2.5 minutes to do so, it's really not the end of the world. And this station was quite simple and straightforward to use, which definitely cannot be said for all New York City subway stations. And now that we've got the highest station out of the way, let's dive deep. And I mean deep. We visited 191st Street Station later in the day, hence this second little semi-intro. Hello, sir. What are we doing?
Taking the A train.
Finally.
Can you hear the music?
Ooh.
Is it copyrighted?
Probably.
Oh well.
The A train is very expressy. Speaking of very express. Speaking of express trains. And then there's a local E. But we want an express. This is one of the new ones. This is our train.
Wait, is it?
Yes. Yes. This is 8th Avenue Express. It's an R211. Wow.
This is the 207th
Okay.
Street bound A Express
No, it
train.
doesn't have the open
The
gate.
next
It's
stop
not like
is
a new one.
59th
Yeah.
Street, London Circle.
It's nice wayfinding. Yeah. We're only going 4 stops on this, but it runs very express. So we're at 59th.
Expressiest train.
It's one of them, yeah.
It's like the E-named letter train.
Yes. Look, controversy. Congestion pricing.
This is 59th Street, London Circle.
Attention everyone. If you have questions or
It tells you which side to exit, where the lights are. So this side is the...
Transfer is available to the 125th Street.
And now we're gonna get the one to go up to 191st, the deepest station in the system. Transferring from the A to the 1. And this ramp is not wheelchair accessible, if you all were wondering. Yeah, either way. So yeah, this is just, I guess, so deep underground that they had to use only elevators down here. So this is very much like Forest Glen. Just for some context, Forest Glen is a station on the DC Metro's Red Line, and its platforms are so deep underground that it also has only elevator access down to the platforms. It's like a Spanish-style solution platform. You exit on that side, but you enter the elevators on this side. How fun. So at 168th, despite having only elevator access to the platform, it's not ADA accessible. There's still stairs after the elevators. For some reason, our train skipped 191st Street and we had to change to a train back towards it at Dyckman Street Station, along with many of our...
Hello, passengers.
No, I meant fellow passengers, not hello passengers. Hudson Bergen Light Rail, stay out of this video, you'll get your own eventually. But I guess the one benefit of our train skipping our station was getting to see Dyckman Street Station, which, you may have noticed, is above ground. It's basically the Smith-Ninth situation, but reverse. The line goes from above ground immediately to the deepest station on the system. This is largely enabled by the hills in Washington Heights, so don't worry, the trains aren't climbing some insane grade between these two stops. Oh, that feels like we're stopping, hopefully. There we go. Alright, so, station review time. Overall platform, very nice, same thing on both sides. Got mosaic tiling. I like this. I like this mosaics. I like all this stuff, it's very cool. Very obvious 191st. Again, just nice details, nice details. And
Should I get the timer out?
we should start the timer when we leave the platform, I think.
Alright, let me get it up.
So this will be platform until we're through the fare gates.
I don't have the timer up yet.
Okay.
Alright, here we go.
Starting the timer.
My phone is at very low battery.
It's okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
Go. It's not a race, we're just doing this as we normally would. We didn't realize the fare gates would be so close to the platform, so we kept the timer running until we reached the street. And from the street, we're going to walk from the elevator entrance all the way to the tunnel station entrance on the other side. Street.
All to ourselves.
All to ourselves, somehow, after a pretty decent crowd got off.
A massive street, mezzanine,
Yeah.
fairly easy. F and R. Door open front, door open rear.
Listen to this motor.
I know. It's like a freight elevator. Slowly.
To level for 7 hours. I assume it's gonna be this door. No, this door first. Okay, so I guess we exit here. And people enter there, I suppose, something like that. Alright. This street level here.
2, 1.
Stop.
2 minutes, 12
2
seconds.
minutes, 12 seconds with the elevator. That's great. There's the lamp. So, we'll time it going back down with the other entrance. So now we're in Washington Heights. We'll be going to the other entrance. So we're walking outside the other entrance, so it'll be a few minutes before we get there. So these hills here are exactly why this subway station is so low underground. So you can't really see it, but it's a steep grade sign warning on the side of the road. But yeah, they got hills galore. And look at that, how steep that is. I know the camera does not do it justice. Here, I can turn it sideways. Now you can kind of see.
It's also dark out.
Yeah, dark, which doesn't really help that much. All right, we're going left on Fairview, so around the long way. Still going down, which you can see now on kind of on screen. Very steep hills. Steepest we've seen in New York for sure.
Gotta appreciate the people who put a large amount of Christmas decorations on their balcony.
That does look cool.
Does
Good
look
job, all the balcony decorators.
Exactly.
Yeah, this gives a good perspective of the hills. Look at how high those buildings are up, and we're still going down. So basically, we're undoing what the elevator just did.
Pretty much.
So there's one street, people going down, and then they come around this corner and go down that street. So this is a lot of this is as close to like switchbacks as you would get in New York.
It's like Lynchburg.
Yeah. And look, those buildings are full. You can't, I wish we could see this during the day. Those are full apartment buildings like on stilts. That's crazy. And we're finally at the bottom.
Yay.
Here's Broadway. But the part no one cares about.
Yeah.
Same road. Same road. It is, it is. So we're starting the timer the second we go down the stairs. It's 190th and Broadway. Here's the entrance, the IRT Subway, 191st Street. And this is just a really long tunnel. Go.
Now. That's a stupidly steep
It is. Well, we're not making that 2-minute train. No way. Well, I'm going to take a picture just because. And the sign has been graffitied over, which is a shame. Like, this is supposed to look nice, and then...
Yeah, this neighborhood really does remind me of that. Exactly.
But this would be a really nice mural if it weren't graffitied over so much. This is a very long tunnel, but very much an oddity on the subway system from what I'm aware.
Yeah.
And we're back. So we're timing it to the platform now. So
Where is my car? There it is.
all right. 4 minutes. Okay.
Oh boy, it's one of these. It's tough.
All right.
Card not accepted.
Only one fare gate was working, so I don't know. Maybe work on that. This is a cool mural. Maybe we'll come back and take a picture of it. Primavera.
All right. 3, 2, 1. 4 minutes. 8
Platform.
seconds.
Wow. Much longer than Wheaton.
To be fair, the fare machines weren't working.
The fare machines were add 20 seconds. So, I mean, subtract 20 seconds.
So like 3 minutes, 50, 45.
Something like that, yeah.
That's
Perfect.
Still a lot.
So at 191st, they have these platform edge barriers. They're not going to stop anyone from falling onto the tracks, per se, because, I mean, look at that. Like, that's all space where, you know, it's all open. But, I mean, it's a start if falling or being pushed is a concern, because it is New York. Stuff like that does happen. But overall, I mean, they're pretty unobtrusive. They just kind of fit right in, yeah. And they're all set up and down the platforms, so. And they do a line, they kind of show you where the doors are, so this is the deepest station on the subway system, but way down there, you can see the end of the tunnel where those lights end. That's above ground. So it's just the hills are so steep here, it gets so deep underground from being above ground, just really in a short amount of distance. So there's really no incline or decline on the rails. There's really not much gradient from what I can tell. It's just, the actual topography of the land is just insane. So
Okay.
how do we feel about 191st Street?
I mean, it's a perfectly fine station, all things considered. The walk is ridiculous.
It's fun though.
It is fun. If 5 is like the most average, I'd probably say it's like a 6, maybe.
Maybe a 6, like from subway station. Sure. I think for foamers, it's an 8.
Yeah.
But that's for obvious reasons, because it's just so deep. It's
For
New York City's Forest Glen, except it has actual foot access. So 168th is more like Forest Glen than this is, at least for the one train. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe. Subscribe to Shoreline 18. Subscribe to my channel if you want. More New York City stuff probably coming at some point. So stay tuned. I'll see y'all. As I just said, thank you all so much for watching. Let me know in the comments, which station do you like better? Smith 9th Street or 191st Street? And also feel free to let me know what you think of me alternating US-focused and European-focused content every other week. I think it's going well so far, especially since it forces me to actually edit videos that have just been sitting for quite some time. And let me know what you'd like to see next. I'll see y'all next week. Auf Wiedersehen.